So good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Sorry. So uh, on Wednesdays, I have back-to-back classes. So get I may get a little late for maybe for 5 minutes or sometimes for 10 minutes. But we will make up for that loss in this lecture because uh, it is your last lecture. So I can easily extend it 5 or 10 minutes more beyond the scheduled time of 7:30. So please, bear with me on Wednesdays. If I get a little late because I have a scheduled class, back-to-back scheduled class. Last class was with section I, and this will be the problem only on Wednesdays. If at all you may call it a problem, but only on Wednesdays you may encounter this situation that you have to wait for 5-6 minutes for the link of the class. So we'll start our discussion in 1 or 2 minutes. Let other people also join, and then we'll start. So good evening, everyone. Today we'll discuss or try to discuss two. That's a one topic, but under two subheads we will discuss that. So topic is stakeholders and functionaries of criminal justice administration. We will start our discussion with stakeholders of criminal justice administration, and then we will move on to discuss functionaries of criminal justice administration. After or during that discussion on functionaries, I'll tell you that now we are switching to another topic, that is hierarchy of the courts, because one of the functionaries of criminal justice administration is court, and there is one more topic in our syllabus relating to hierarchy of courts. So we will discuss hierarchy of courts right after our discussion on functionaries of criminal justice administration. So by and large, with that discussion, we will be able to complete the introductory portion of your syllabus. If you look at who are the, or if you try to answer this question that who are the stakeholders of criminal justice administration, then you should start with state. The reason being because state discharges the responsibility or obligation to protect the life and property and liberty of its citizens by taking suitable measures. These measures may be preventive in nature or punitive in nature. That is why criminal justice administration, which involves maintenance of law and order and also involves punishing the offenders because they have created a problem relating to law and order. So therefore, it becomes the primary responsibility of the state to maintain peace, order, and maintain law and order in the society. You can also call it to be one of the most important function of the state. One of the most important function of the state is to protect life, liberty, and property of its citizens. And in case life or property is being threatened or injured, then apprehend the criminal, put him on trial, him or her on trial, and accordingly punish the culprit. For this purpose, to perform this function, state has established a very comprehensive machinery, which we will discuss in the next topic, the entire machinery of the state for the purpose of criminal justice administration. So to perform this function of protecting life, liberty, and property of its citizens, and to maintain law and order in the state, the state has created a very comprehensive machinery, which includes police, prosecution, courts, prison system, or correctional system. So that is why state can be termed as one of the main stakeholders in the criminal justice administration, because it is not only investing resources into it, but it is also performing its primary function while establishing or playing a role in criminal justice administration. Now, this is easier to understand because we all know as law students that a crime is an act against state, or commission of crime is treated a crime against state. So therefore, state takes this responsibility to investigate that crime, to conduct prosecution and punish the offender. And after punishment, state takes the responsibility to keep that offender in a prison system, which is funded and run by state. But a slightly difficult question would be, why state is performing this function? Is there a philosophical foundation of this function that you can point out, or it's just that state is performing this function because nobody else is ready to perform this function? So do you have any idea about the philosophical foundation of this function of the state to maintain law and order and to protect life, liberty, and property of the citizens by way of establishing a comprehensive criminal justice administration machinery? Why state is doing that?
Sir, because the primary purpose of creating the state was to create order and peace in the society and to ensure good life of everyone.
Okay, fine. Anyone else? So what she said is very close to which we will discuss as the reason for state performing this function. So basically, if you read social contract theory, which has been propagated by Hobbes, Locke, and Rousseau, then you will get a brief idea about why state was created. What is the reason behind creation of state? So one of the basic reason for creation of the most basic reason for creation of state and giving it certain powers over citizens is that citizens agreed with each other. In the theory of Locke and in the theory of Hobbes, they entered into a contract with the Leviathan. We will surrender all our rights to you. बस हम लोगों को life or liberty or property का protection दे दो आप. We will surrender all our rights to you. In Locke's theory, this idea matured a little bit. Locke said that there are kind of a agreement among people also, and then there is agreement of the people with the state, and they did not surrender all their rights. They kept their right to property and liberty with themselves and surrendered other rights. In Rousseau's theory, this idea became more broader or more matured, and he came up with this idea of Leviathan without head, and visualized a state which is democratically elected, which is a state by the for the people, of the people, and by the people. So the philosophical reason why a state is performing this function is because, according to these thinkers or theories of these thinkers, the primary reason behind existence of the state, or the primary reason of existence of the state, is that there is an agreement between citizens and the state that it will provide them a safe and secure society wherein there is no threat to their life, liberty, and property. There is no threat to their life, liberty, and property, and where there is a law and order. Where there is a law and order. So basically, if you look at Hobbes' theory, he called the state as a night watchman, because people could not perform both the functions of earning their livelihood as well as protecting their life and property. So therefore, they, by way of an agreement, given the function of protection of their life, liberty, and property to the state. कि भाई हम तो अपनी रोजी रोटी कमाने का काम तो हम खुद कर लेंगे, बट जहाँ तक प्रोटेक्शन की बात आती है, who will protect us, तो उसमें हम फेल हो जाते हैं, and we end up losing many things that we have earned. We may end up losing our property, we may end up losing our life. तो उन्होंने वो वाली जो फंक्शन है वो स्टेट को दे दिया. Theoretically, फिर लॉक wrote a very matured version of Hobbes' idea, and then Rousseau took it forward. But basically the idea is that state is performing this function because citizens have agreed with the state and given the power to perform this function to the state. Citizens ने खुद ही बोला है कि भैया आपका one of the function is to maintain law and order and to protect our life, liberty and property. इस वजह से ये काम स्टेट कर रहा है, कोई और नहीं कर रहा है. इस वजह से काम स्टेट कर रहा है, कोई और नहीं कर रहा है. अब इसको दूसरे एंगल से देखते हैं. ठीक है. In law of torts, you have studied about sovereign function and non-sovereign functions. What is the meaning of sovereign function? What is sovereign function?
Functions which are performed by government.
कुछ और थोड़ा सा इसमें एक दो वर्ड ऊपर नीचे कर दो. Functions.
Central government.
Functions performed by central. Functions performed by government ठीक है, but उसको अगर ऐसे बोल दो, sovereign function
performed by the state employees during their course of employment.
नहीं, वो तो vicarious liability वाला मामला हो गया.
सर गवर्नमेंट को स्टेट से रिप्लेस कर दो, बिकॉज स्टेट इज अ मोर रिफ्लेक्टिव ऑफ द आइडिया ऑफ सोवियन फंक्शन.
ठीक है. बट इसको अगर ऐसे पढ़ो, ध्यान से सुनना जो मैं बोलूंगा. सोवरेन फंक्शन इज अ फंक्शन which can only underlined, which can only be performed by state / government. You can choose any word. Sovereign function is a function which can only be performed by state. ये इस एंगल से हम क्यों अप्रोच कर रहे हैं इसको? Because then we will have a much clearer idea why state is so much concerned about criminal justice administration and investing so much of resources in criminal justice administration, because this function is the sovereign function of the state. सिर्फ under Indian legal system or any other democratic legal system, for example, we won't talk about other political systems for a while, this function can only be performed by state. अब इसको ज्यादा समझना हो, अगर जो हमने डेफिनेशन देखी है सॉवरेन फंक्शन की, जो या फिर एक्सप्लेनेशन है, कोई डेफिनेशन नहीं है इससे, बट समझने के लिए डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. देयर आर अदर फंक्शंस एज वेल in addition to maintenance of law and order and creation of criminal justice machinery, administration machinery, there are other functions as well which can only be performed by state. तो अगर आप उनकी एक लिस्ट बता दो, for example, I'll ask you that question in a while, तो आपको ज्यादा क्लियर आइडिया होगा कि अच्छा ये सॉवरन फंक्शन है, क्योंकि द आइडिया बेसिकली इज कि वो वाला काम सिर्फ स्टेट ही कर सकता है, सिर्फ और सिर्फ स्टेट कर सकता है, कोई और नहीं कर सकता. So can you give me some examples of some functions which can only and only be performed by state? Police, ठीक है. Anyone else?
Military.
International treaties.
International relations, international and diplomatic relations, which includes the entering into of any agreement or treaty with a state or with any international organization.
Sir,
Defense भी बोला था ना किसी ने? Defense बोला था ना?
yes.
ठीक है, defense. Somebody is saying, Arshad is saying judicial administration. Yes, adjudicatory function is also a sovereign function of the state when it comes to adjudicating a civil dispute or a criminal dispute. Then only and only state has the power to adjudicate such disputes. However, there are in recent times you can also say that there are some exceptions to it in the form of recognition of ADR methods, alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, to resolve certain kinds of dispute, but that area is very limited. By and large, state performs the function of adjudication. Anything else?
Sir, managing the economy, the currency of the country.
Relating to central functions which are being performed by through the central bank by the state, relating to deciding that repo rate, reverse repo rate, printing of currency, all those things are the sovereign function. Only state can perform, nobody else can perform. एक function बोल रहे हो आप which touches our life.
Laws.
Huh?
Making laws.
Making laws, yes, true. Anything else?
Elections.
ठीक है. Conduct of election. एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट एरिया भूल रहे हो. ये सब चीजें तो थोड़ी बाद में आती हैं. स्टेट के 4 मेन फंक्शन होते हैं.
To maintain law and order.
वो तो हो गया. मेंटेन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर एक फंक्शन हो गया. डिफेंस ऑफ द स्टेट, प्रोटेक्टिंग सोवरेनिटी एंड इंटीग्रिटी ऑफ द स्टेट एक फंक्शन हो गया. इंटरनेशनल रिलेशन एक फंक्शन हो गया. एक और मेन फंक्शन आता है. 3 फंक्शन के बाद एक मेन.
वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल.
अपॉइंटमेंट टू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल पोजीशन.
नहीं. अरे बहुत जो डे टू डे लाइफ में टच करता है हमें, उसके बिना ना स्टेट चल सकता ना हम चल सकते.
लॉज.
टैक्स imposition of टैक्स. ठीक है. किसको किस सब्जेक्ट मैटर पे कितना टैक्स देना है, कितनी रेट का टैक्स देना है, इट इज ऑल्सो अ सॉवरेन फंक्शन ऑफ द स्टेट. तो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, डिफेंस, टैक्स एंड international relations, these are by and large are the main functions of the state. जब स्टेट का थ्योरेटिकल फाउंडेशन हम डिस्कस करते हैं तो ये कहते हैं कि ये फंक्शन आपके पास है, इनसे हमें कोई लेना देना नहीं है. इन फंक्शन से जो आपको पावर मिलती है वो हमारे बेनिफिट के लिए एक्सरसाइज करनी है आपको. एक तो हमें आपको इंजरी से बचाना है, टू आवर लाइफ, लिबर्टी एंड प्रॉपर्टी. एक किसी विदेशी आक्रमण से आपको हमें बचाना है. एक आपको हमारा वेलफेयर करना है, एंड दैट यू कैन नॉट डू विदाउट exacting certain amount of taxes from us. और जो आप पूरा मशीनरी अपना चलाओगे उसके लिए you need money, so therefore we will pay you the money. अच्छा, if you close your eyes and visualize it, how state is being run, on whose resources state is being run?
People's resources.
ठीक है जी. तो इसको याद रखना आप चीज को, कि इस वजह से जो फिलोसफिकल फाउंडेशन उस फंक्शन के लिए है, दैट स्टेट वुड प्रोटेक्ट लाइफ, लिबर्टी एंड प्रॉपर्टी एंड मेंटेन लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, वो वाला हमने ही तो दिया है ना उसको फंक्शन. हमने उसको अलाउ किया है कि भैया आप ये फंक्शन परफॉर्म करो. सिमिलरली जो स्टेट रन भी करता है ना, वो इस वजह से रन करता है बिकॉज वी हैव अग्रीड टू पे स्टेट अ सर्टेन अमाउंट ऑफ मनी, जिसकी वजह से वो चल सके. ठीक है. So that is why theoretically a democratic state is nothing but a creation of the people, for the people and by the people, and that is where Locke and Rousseau comes into picture and explains these things in a theoretical manner. अब यहाँ पे एक चीज और आती है which I will not discuss in detail, but you should know that. अब आपने किसी को कोई पावर दे दिया कि भैया आप ये आपका सॉवरेन फंक्शन है, आप ही कर सकते हो, कोई और नहीं कर सकता. अब जरूरी तो नहीं है कि हमेशा वो जो सॉवरेन फंक्शन आपने परफॉर्म करने के लिए दिया है स्टेट को, इट विल परफॉर्म इट इन अ मैनर विच इज always beneficial to all the people at all points of time. There may be some problems in the way state performs its function. For example, if the state is maintaining law and order and protecting life, liberty and property of citizens, तो कभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि पुलिस वाला ends up illegally arresting someone. कभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है that somebody has to lose his or her life in a lockup, becomes a victim of custodial torture. कभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है that somebody is being killed on the road in an encounter or in a fake encounter, for example. कभी ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि that tax authorities are in addition to exacting tax money from you, they are also demanding certain amount of illegal gratification either in cash or kind. ये भी प्रॉब्लम रहेगी. ठीक है. तो इस वजह से there are two ideas associated with the government or associated with the sovereign functions of the state or government. One is that state has the sovereign power to exercise XYZ function, but they must be exercised in a very limited manner. If they are exercised beyond a particular point, then I can push back the state. तो जो फंडामेंटल राइट का कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, ये कुछ नहीं है, ये एक आइडिया है जहां पे यू आर पुशिंग बैक द स्टेट और उसको उसकी लाइन बता रहे हो. डू नॉट क्रॉस दिस लाइन भाई, दिस इज माई लाइन, दिस डोमेन पर्टेन्स टू माई इंडिविजुअल राइट एंड फ्रीडम. इसको क्रॉस मत करो. आपको सॉवरेन फंक्शन दिया है, यू कैन एक्सरसाइज सर्टेन पावर्स टू परफॉर्म दोज फंक्शन, क्योंकि फंक्शन परफॉर्म करने के लिए यू रिक्वायर पावर, तो यू डू हैव द पावर, बट एक लाइन मत क्रॉस करो. सो वी डू पुश state back with the help of writ petitions filed under article 32 or 226. हमारे पास मैकेनिज्म है to push back the state. तो ये जो आइडिया है, इसको कहते हैं आइडिया ऑफ लिमिटेड गवर्नमेंट. और वहीं पे there are some states which after getting this power to perform certain functions, sovereign functions, may convert into unlimited state. वो कहते हैं अब तो सारा काम हम ही करेंगे, बस आप बस चुप रहो. ठीक है, आपके कोई राइट नहीं है, राइट सारे हमारे हैं. आपने दे दिए एक बार राइट, आपने खुद ही बोल दिया these are your sovereign functions. So if these are our sovereign function, then only we can perform or do something about it. So ये जो idea of limited and unlimited government है, this would come into picture from this discussion. तो हमने अभी डिस्कशन किया ना कि स्टेट के कुछ सॉवरेन फंक्शन होते हैं, बट इसका मतलब ये नहीं होता कि जब मैं ये कह रहा हूं कि ओनली स्टेट कैन परफॉर्म सर्टेन फंक्शन, इट डज नॉट मीन स्टेट कैन परफॉर्म दिस फंक्शन इन एन आर्बिट्ररी मैनर. इट हैज टू परफॉर्म दिस फंक्शंस इन अ वेरी रीजनेबल, जस्ट एंड फेयर मैनर. If it perform these functions going beyond a particular line, beyond a particular point, which is infringing upon my rights, I will push back the state. So this basically is the main theme of Locke and Rousseau. उन्होंने कहा कि भाई स्टेट को हमने थ्रू एग्रीमेंट ये पावर तो दे दी है कि आप कुछ फंक्शन, सॉवरेन फंक्शन एक्सरसाइज करो, मेंटेन करो लॉ एंड ऑर्डर, मुझे अरेस्ट भी कर सकते हो, यू कैन पुट मी ऑन ट्रायल, यू कैन आस्क फॉर टैक्सेस, ये काम सब कर सकते हो आप, बट देयर इज अ लिमिट. इफ यू क्रॉस दिस लिमिट देन आई विल पुश यू बैक. राजनीति शास्त्र में, पॉलिटिकल साइंस में, जो पॉलिटिकल फिलॉसफी इस बात को आर्ग्यू करती है दैट स्टेट का पावर मस्ट बी लिमिटेड, उसको हम राइट विंग फिलॉसफी कहते हैं. नॉट दैट राइट विंग जो आप अखबारों में पढ़ते हो, वो अलग आइडिया ऑफ डिस्कशन है, वो थोड़ा सा राइट विंग. इट any philosophy which argues for a limited government is right. It is also known as classical liberalism. और जो फिलोसफी ये कहती है कि स्टेट ही सब कुछ करेगा, स्टेट के पास ये पावर जो हमने दे दी है ये तो है ही, इन एडिशन टू दैट इट कैन कीप ऑन एक्सपेंडिंग इट्स पावर, उसको हम पॉलिटिकल फिलोसफी में कहते हैं लेफ्ट लीनिंग. आई एम यूजिंग द वर्ड राइट लीनिंग एंड लेफ्ट लीनिंग. लेफ्ट लीनिंग जब एक्सट्रीम लेफ्ट में चली जाती है देन इट बिकम्स communism, wherein only state has the rights, citizens they do not have any rights. State also enjoys ownership ka right on all means of production, on all private properties. There is nothing like private property actually in a communist state, in a pure communist state. But on if right wing also is inclined towards extreme right, then it may also lead into expansion of the state, but in different areas. In left wing, expansion of the state is basically in economic domain. आपकी प्रॉपर्टी ले ली जाएगी, ठीक है, या फिर आपके सिविल पॉलिटिकल राइट्स ले लिए जाएंगे. In right wing, the expansion of the state in थोड़ा सा in different areas, as had happened in Germany, wherein state expanded, but in different areas, wherein it started discriminating between two groups on some basis. ठीक है. So this is in brief about why state is a stakeholder and an important stakeholder in criminal justice administration. Do not think too much about this idea of limited government and unlimited government. We may discuss it at some other point of time. बस इसका थोड़ा सा ये है कि अगर आपको ये दिमाग में रहेगा, यू कैन बी मोर कैपेबल ऑफ appreciating different issues that floats in our society at a particular point of time. You may critically develop a critical thinking about those issues. The second stakeholder of criminal justice administration is victim. I have put it on second number, but normally people put accused on number 2 as far as a stakeholder. There is no such hierarchy, but still people do that they put accused as a stakeholder above victim. But according to me, both victim and accused, they have a deep interest in the functioning of criminal justice administration. But if you look at our criminal procedure, Indian criminal procedure, then victims' interest and rights are not comprehensively dealt with under the provisions of criminal procedure code. And this goes to an extent wherein you will find that there was not even a definition of the word victim in original CRPC of 1973. When it was enacted in 1973, there was no definition of victim. The definition was added by way of an amendment under section 2WA later on. Along with that, earlier there was not any comprehensive mechanism for giving compensation to the victims of certain crimes. But now judiciary, as well as since last 1.5 decade, both parliament as well as judiciary, they are working very proactively to create a very comprehensive system for the protection of the rights and interest of the victims of certain crimes, not crime per se, but certain crimes. So the entire focus since last one decade, or after Nirbhaya's case, and even before that to a certain extent, was on protecting the interest and rights of victims of sexual offenses. And third stakeholder is accused. If you read CRPC along with constitutional provision, you will get a fair idea that our criminal procedure gives huge importance to the rights of the accused person, be it at the stage of arrest of the accused person, be it at the stage of filing a bail application when you are in the custody of state machinery, be it during the trial, be it during the sentence hearing, or be it once you have been sentenced and sent to the prison. Both judiciary as well as parliament are acting proactively to protect the rights and interest of the accused person at all these stages. So for example, if you read Constitution, then under Article 20 and 22, there are clear provisions created for the purpose of protecting the rights and the interest of the accused person. Article 22 में अरेस्ट की पावर को लिमिट करते हैं, कुछ safeguards are provided to the accused person. Article 20 में you have given recognition to certain basic principles of criminal jurisprudence like right against self-incrimination, concept of double jeopardy, concept of ex post facto law. Under Article 21, judiciary has played a very active role and created several rights and recognized them as fundamental rights of the accused person. These are, for example, right to have free legal aid in case accused person is poor and indigent. You do have a provision under CRPC section 304, and if you read it with Article 21, Article 39, capital A, and 304 of CRPC, you will create a very comprehensive framework for the accused person in case the accused is poor and indigent and could not afford a lawyer to represent his case or to argue his case. Similarly, right to speedy trial has been recognized as a fundamental right way back in 1979, and I told you in previous lecture that people with deep pockets are taking out immense benefits out of this right of speedy trial. आपके ट्रायल को जैसे ही थोड़ा ज्यादा टाइम बीतता है, पेंडिंग रहती है ट्रायल, तुरंत आप हाई कोर्ट में 226 या सुप्रीम कोर्ट पहुंच जाते हो स्टेटिंग दैट आई हैव ए फंडामेंटल राइट टू स्पीडी ट्रायल, मेरी ट्रायल पेंडिंग है, जो ऑफेंस किया है मैंने उसकी सजा भी इस ड्यूरेशन से कम है जितने दिनों से ट्रायल पेंडिंग है, तो गिव मी सम रिलीफ. कभी कभी कोर्ट डिस्चार्ज कर देता है, कभी कभी कोर्ट ये डायरेक्शन देता है दैट ट्रायल मस्ट बी कंप्लीटेड इन ए टाइम बाउंड मैनर, बट मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम if the offense for which you are charged is not a serious one, then you are discharged. So in conclusion, we can say that under our criminal procedure, we have a very comprehensive mechanism to protect the rights and interest of accused person, be it under the provisions of Constitution, be it under the provisions of CRPC. And all the organs of the government, be it legislature or executive or judiciary, and mainly judiciary, they are very proactive in protecting the interest and rights of the accused person during pre-trial proceeding, during the trial proceedings, and also after the trial has been concluded. And in case if accused person has been convicted, then we continue to provide certain safeguards to the convicted person as well. So the fourth stakeholder in criminal justice administration is witness or witnesses. Now the problem in our criminal justice administration is that, like victim, witness is also one of the stakeholders which is largely or who has largely been ignored by all the three organs of the government. So for example, if I ask you, is there a witness protection law in India, comprehensive witness protection law in India, then it's a tough nut to crack, because even if there is a law, hypothetically imagine it, we are not concerned about discussing witness protection laws in detail now, but even if there is a law, it is not much popular. And witness turning hostile during the trial of heinous or serious offenses is a common feature of our criminal justice system. So if it is a common feature of our criminal justice administration, it raises several questions, serious questions about, are we taking care of our witnesses? Are we giving them enough confidence or protection so that they could stand the pressure built during the trial of heinous offenses? So all these are very serious questions which we are unable to address effectively till today. So, but there are several decisions of High Court and Supreme Court in which courts have pointed out that we need, or courts have also issued in certain cases certain guidelines, but there is a consensus in judiciary, be it High Court or Supreme Court, that India needs a very comprehensive witness protection program or witness protection law in order to give confidence to the witnesses that nothing wrong would happen to them, or no injury would be committed against them if they decide to be a witness during the trial against an accused person who has been accused of committing heinous offenses. But situation on ground is slightly different. We will come back to this topic later on, because it is one of the topic in your course, witness protection laws in India. So then we will discuss all the issues relating to confidence among witnesses, protection of the rights and interest of the witnesses of a criminal trial. Then we will deal with this issue in more detail. Last is society and members of the general public. They are also the stakeholders in criminal justice administration. And in all those cases wherein an act has been made or declared as an offense, and you think that it is curtailing my individual freedom, the focus of the state is to protect the interest of the public. For example, smoking in public is an offense. If you smoke in public is an offense. It is curtailing your personal liberty, but your personal liberty is being curtailed with an objective to protect the interest of the public. So, for example, we have laws relating to wearing of helmets. So, if I ask you that if you do not wear a helmet, then is it a crime or not? Is it a crime or not? Not wearing an helmet.
No, sir, it's not a crime. It's just an offense.
नहीं, offense crime एक ही बात है ना, कोई difference थोड़ी है दोनों में. Is it punishable either by imprisonment or fine? Yes.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो जो कुछ ऐसे laws होते हैं ना जहाँ पे ऐसे देखने में लगता है कि भैया ये क्यों अपराध बना दिया, हेलमेट पहनूं मैं या ना पहनूं मेरी मर्जी. तो इन एरियाज में the objective of the state is to protect the interest of the larger public. Seat belt na lagana aparadh hai, for example, you have to pay a fine, or if you do not pay a fine, you may suffer some imprisonment. So ye isliye hai because state has an intention to protect the interest of the public. There are several laws, special laws, under which some acts have been declared to be offense or crime/crime because state wants to protect the interest of the general public. For example, all food adulteration laws, all laws relating to environmental pollution in India, causing environmental pollution has been declared to be an offense under Environmental Protection Act. ये जितने भी ऐसे कानून हैं जहाँ पे आपने ऐसे acts को offense declare किया है which does not fit within the framework of offenses per se as defined and discussed under IPC, तो वहाँ पे your objective is to protect the interest of the public. So society and public has a deep interest in the functioning of criminal justice administration, and that is how we can conclude our discussion on this particular subtopic, that there are mainly five stakeholders in criminal justice administration: state, victim, accused, witnesses, society, or general public. So this is all about the first subtopic that we wanted to discuss. Now, if you want to ask something about it, then you can go ahead and ask. This is simple. Even if you read it once, you can easily remember and write about it. So now coming to the second subtopic of today's lecture, I'll introduce this in today's class, and we will complete it in tomorrow's class along with the topic of hierarchy of the courts. So basically, if you start talking about functionary of criminal justice administration, then the first and foremost functionary which would help us in reporting the crime, which would help us in feeling us safe, or in making us feel safe, and which would help to apprehend the criminal or the accused person, which would work to investigate the offense which has been brought in the notice of that functionary, is police. Police is one functionary of criminal or such functionary of criminal justice administration जिसके साथ आपका कभी ना कभी कोई वास्ता पड़ता है. Either तो somebody is serving in police in your family, among your relatives. Either you have knocked the gates of police station when you were in problem, or somebody relating to you is in some trouble, or you have come across this functionary while driving a car, or riding your bike, or riding on a public transport. ये वाला functionary is like a member of the public. I call police to be please mute yourself.
दाना खियल हो पिया दिया चाहे दाना कम है उससे नहीं लो दोनों
बोलना यार,
हम ना करनी वो खुद कर अपना लास्ट.
Kumar, please mute yourself. Kumar, please.
दवा ना हो वो तो घर के दवा है दवा खिया के बा मैंने क्यों पिया दो चाहे खिया दो जाएगा तरह ना तन नहीं एक चम्मच के हिसाब से
Thank you, Kumar. Thank you. So, I call police to be a member of the society. And if you ask me that what kind of a police you want to protect your life, liberty, and property, then I would say that I need a friendly police. Like in London, they call policemen with a nickname Bobby. So we need more Bobbies around us to protect ourselves, so that we can feel comfortable and safe in and around police. We do not get afraid of police, or when we see a policeman, or when we hear about a policeman, then we should not draw a different kind of picture in our mind. So police as a functionary also includes other investigation agencies. Any authority or agency which enjoys police powers. And what are the police powers? To arrest a person, to search a premises, to seize a property, to investigate a particular crime. These are police powers. So if any authority or agency has been conferred with police power, that would also be a part of criminal justice administration. You can safely call that investigation agency is also a functionary of criminal justice administration. So this statement, like these words are not there in the PPT which I uploaded, because in the last class I asked them to give some example of investigation agencies other than police, agencies which enjoys police powers. So they gave examples of CBI, NIA, ED, CBI, NIA, ED. CBI, NIA and ED, they are investigation agencies, special investigation agencies. They are not like regular police, but we can safely call them as a functionary of criminal justice administration because they enjoys police power. Now, the second functionary of criminal justice administration is the prosecutors. And for this, you can read in detail section 24, because I think I will not be discussing in detail section 24 and section 25 of CRPC. Please read these two provisions to have a clear idea about the office of prosecutors and the provisions relating to a directorate of prosecution. And at this juncture, I would also appreciate if you have an idea, or if you try to have an idea about the prosecution system in your state. क्योंकि हर एक राज्य में जो प्रोसिक्यूशन सिस्टम है वो थोड़ा अलग अलग है. तो अगर कोई यूपी से है तो वो अपने यहाँ का प्रोसिक्यूशन सिस्टम जानने की कोशिश करे, कोई राजस्थान से है वो अपने यहाँ का करे, कोई तमिलनाडु से है वो अपने यहाँ का सिस्टम जानने की कोशिश करे. बट प्रोसिक्यूटर्स आर एन इम्पोर्टेंट फंक्शनरी ऑफ क्रिमिनल जस्टिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. देन prosecution or prosecutors, they represent the side of the state or the complainant in case the case is filed by way of a complaint, and the interest of the accused person is represented by defense counsel. So defense counsel is also a functionary of criminal justice administration. Then after that, the fourth functionary of criminal justice administration is court or courts. When in the next class we will discuss about courts, we will switch on to the topic of different kinds of criminal courts under CRPC and hierarchy of the courts. So we will discuss both those topics. But for now, what you should know is that courts are one of the functionary of criminal justice administration. And lastly, we have prison and correctional authorities as functionaries of criminal justice administration. So to conclude, there are following functionaries of criminal justice administration: police, prosecution, defense counsel, courts, and prison and correctional authorities. अब आप अगर ध्यान से इसको देखो, all these functionaries would come into picture at a particular stage. So police would come into picture as a functionary of criminal justice administration. In which stage? Pre-trial, trial, or post-trial? Police as a functionary would come into picture in which stage?
Pre-trial.
ठीक है. तो ये अगर आप इसको ये सवाल पूछ के डिस्कस करोगे फंक्शनरीज को, तो ये थोड़ा रिकॉल करना और लिखना आसान रहेगा. So police as a functionary of criminal justice administration would assist in maintenance of law and order, detection of crime, apprehension of offenders, and investigation of the crimes reported to it in the pre-trial stage. ठीक है जी. Now prosecutors and defense counsel would come into picture in pre-trial stage, during trial, or post-trial?
During trial.
During trial. Prosecutors and defense counsel would come into picture during trial. Okay. Now, if I ask you, when will courts will come into picture? And this is a very trickier one. We haven't read the entire CRPC yet, but I'll give you some hints. Some hints. Now, when I ask this question, that courts as a functionary, courts here include the judicial magistrates as well, and in some cases executive magistrate as well. So when will they come into picture? If I ask you the same question, pre-trial or trial or post-trial?
So throughout, sir.
Or we can say pre-trial and trial में तो पता है भाई, post-trial में तो if the person is like convicted and sent to jail, तब पता नहीं क्या रोल होता होगा मैजिस्ट्रेट का, कोर्ट का. बट आप ये कह सकते हो कि थ्रू आउट दे वुड बी इन पिक्चर. सो प्री ट्रायल में मैजिस्ट्रेट्स कोर्ट वुड बी इन पिक्चर, बिकॉज एफआईआर के अलावा आपको अगर कोई क्राइम रिपोर्ट करना है, यू कैन फाइल ए कंप्लेंट. मैजिस्ट्रेट कैन टेक ए सो मोटो कॉग्निजेंस अंडर 191C clause C of an offense. Then they would remain in picture at the stage of cognizance, committal, and framing of charge. All these are pre-trial stages. They would remain in picture during the trial, because it is the court which is going to adjudicate the case, which is going to determine whether the accused person is guilty or innocent. It is the court which will pronounce the sentence, and then the accused person is sent to prison. And then the last functionary is prison system. When would prison system would come into picture? Correctional prison system,
Post
pre-trial, trial, or post-trial? This is also little tricky.
Sir, during the trial and post trial.
भाई प्रिजन सिस्टम भी प्री ट्रायल में भी पिक्चर में रहेगा, क्योंकि रिमांड 15 दिन से, पुलिस कस्टडी 15 दिन से ज्यादा तो मिल नहीं सकती आपको, रिमांड आप 15 दिन से ज्यादा तो ले नहीं सकते, तो 15 दिन के बाद एक्यूज्ड वुड बी इन जुडिशियल कस्टडी। अब जुडिशियल कस्टडी के भारत में मायने हैं कि उस व्यक्ति को जेल भेजा जाएगा। जुडिशरी के पास अपना तो कोई प्रिजन सिस्टम है नहीं, सो जुडिशरी इज बीइंग हेल्ड बाय एग्जीक्यूटिव कि आप इस व्यक्ति को जुडिशियल कस्टडी में जेल भेज दो। जेल में आपको दो तरीके के व्यक्ति देखने को मिलते हैं, एक अंडर ट्रायल, एक कन्विक्टेड। ठीक है जी। तो प्रिजन सिस्टम इन इंडिया रिमेन्स इन पिक्चर ड्यूरिंग प्री ट्रायल, ड्यूरिंग ट्रायल एंड पोस्ट ट्रायल एज वेल। वैसे प्रिजन सिस्टम को पिक्चर में तभी आना चाहिए जब किसी व्यक्ति को आपने कन्विक्ट कर दिया हो, या तो आपके यहाँ प्रिजन सिस्टम का ऐसा मैकेनिज्म होना चाहिए दैट फॉर अंडर ट्रायल्स देयर विल बी सेपरेट प्रिजन सिस्टम। उसको प्रिजन सिस्टम नहीं कहना चाहिए, उसको कुछ भी कह सकते हो आप, आई डू नॉट नो द नेम, बट मेरे हिसाब से इन माय पर्सनल ओपिनियन जब तक किसी व्यक्ति को आपने कन्विक्ट नहीं किया है तब तक उसके साथ ज्यादती है। अगर आप उसको सेम सिस्टम में भेज रहे हो जहां पे जो आपने बनाया है टू फॉर दोज पीपल हु हैज बीन कन्विक्टेड फॉर कमीशन ऑफ ऑफेंसेस, और ये पूरा ओवर क्राउडिंग जो है ना इन प्रिजन्स, ये इसी वजह से होता है। जेलें बनाई गई हैं किस चीज के लिए? एनीवन? प्रिजन मींस व्हेन यू आर सेंट टू प्रिजन, आप कॉमन सेंस है। जब ये साबित होता हो कि भाई आपने कोई अपराध किया है और इस वजह से आपको उस अपराध की जो सजा है उसके तहत सजा भुगतने के लिए भेजा जा रहा है, तो वो हो गया आपका प्रिजन सिस्टम। बट ये जो सिस्टम है ना, आई डू नॉट नो व्हाट वुड यू कॉल दिस सिस्टम एज अ लॉ, एज अ पर्सन हु इज engaged in law teaching and research, I do not know what would you call this system, जहाँ पे आप किसी व्यक्ति को अरेस्ट करके और मजिस्ट्रेट के सामने प्रोड्यूस करते हो, और अगर आपने उसकी पुलिस कस्टडी नहीं मांगी है, रिमांड नहीं मांगी है, तो आप उसको उसी जेल में भेज देते हो जहाँ पे जो हमने बनाई है एक्चुअली उन लोगों के लिए जिनके ऊपर आरोप साबित हो गए हो और उनको सजा दे दी गई है, और अब वो अपनी सेंटेंस सर्व करने के लिए नाउ दे आर स्पेंडिंग देयर टाइम इन जेल। तो इंटरेस्टिंगली द prison and correctional system in India would remain in picture throughout pre-trial stage, trial stage, and even after trial. इस पे किसी को कुछ बोलना है वो बोल सकता है कि क्या आपके ओपिनियन में भारत में जो गवर्नमेंट फैसिलिटी उन लोगों के लिए है जो अंडर ट्रायल है वो अलग होनी चाहिए, और जो कन्विक्टेड है वो अलग होनी चाहिए, और उसी तरीके से आप उसके नियम कायदे बनाओगे। जो अंडर ट्रायल है उसको थोड़ी सी ज्यादा फ्रीडम दे सकते हो आप, जो कन्विक्टेड है बिकॉज ही हैज बीन डिक्लेयर्ड टू बी ऑफेंडर एंड ही इज सर्विंग ए पनिशमेंट, तो वहां पे थोड़ा रिजिड सिस्टम रह सकता है। यू कैन स्पीक 1 or 2 lines about it if you want to speak something about it.
Sir, what I think is that कि speedy trial पे focus करना चाहिए rather than setting them free, because whether they are the court will decide that कि उन्हें punish करना है या नहीं, but still मतलब letting them free is not a good option.
Free. I am not saying letting them free. I am saying that do you think we should have different institutions for holding people who are under trials and who are convicted? This is what I asked. अलग अलग सिस्टम होना चाहिए दोनों के लिए। मेरे हिसाब से अगर कोई अंडर ट्रायल है, देयर इज नो पॉइंट ऑफ सेंडिंग हिम टू प्रिजन। आप उसके लिए एक अलग से इंस्टीट्यूशन क्रिएट करो अब वो क्या होगा, क्या उसका नाम होगा, that is a big question. It cannot be decided by a single person like me. That can be debated inside the parliament by all the members of the parliament, and they can come up with some suggestion, some idea.
No, so what you are saying, just what you are saying is that there should be a separate prison or kind of infrastructure.
Facility. Call it a facility
Facility.
to hold those people till the conclusion of trial. If you think that they cannot be let go and roam around in the society free because they are accused of very heinous crimes.
That can be done. That can be done, and that can be thought of by the state.
हाँ, ये इसके बारे में आप सोचना थोड़ा, क्योंकि इंडिया में जो पूरा डिबेट है ना प्रिजनर्स राइट का, अंडर ट्रायल के राइट्स का, उसमें ना ये पिक्चर में नहीं आती है बात कभी कि भाई क्यों ना हम एक सेपरेट फैसिलिटी क्रिएट कर दें, एक सेपरेट सिस्टम क्रिएट कर दें फॉर अंडर ट्रायल्स.
So we can create infrastructure of like detention centers.
हाँ, मतलब कुछ भी, जैसे कि ये कह रहे हैं कि भाई प्री ट्रायल डिटेंशन सेंटर्स या इस तरह
Just something on the lines of open jails, I think so. I read about it.
that would also be a good idea. और इससे ना दो समस्याओं का समाधान होगा एट द सेम टाइम. पहला, जो आपका ओवर क्राउडिंग ऑफ प्रिजन है वो प्रॉब्लम बिल्कुल खत्म हो जाएगी. ओवर क्राउडिंग अगर जेलों में है तो उसकी वजह है अंडर ट्रायल प्रिजनर्स. दूसरा, जितना रिसोर्सेज जेलों को मिल रहा है इससे आप बेटर फैसिलिटी क्रिएट कर सकते हो एंड यू कैन रन बेटर करेक्शनल सर्विसेज फॉर दोज पीपल हु हैव बीन कन्विक्टेड. और तीसरा, जो व्यक्ति को अभी सजा नहीं हुई है, जिसको आपने गिल्टी प्रूव नहीं किया है अब तक, वो थोड़ा सा समाज की नजरों में और अपनी खुद की नजर में भी ही कैन फील कि हाँ भाई स्टेट इज नॉट मिसट्रीटिंग मी. गलती हो गई, अगर मैंने अपराध भी किया है और अगर मैंने अपराध नहीं किया है, स्टिल आई एम बीइंग ट्राइड, तो भी कोई वो नहीं है. बट देयर शुड बी ए सेपरेट डिटेंशन फैसिलिटी. और आई एम एक्चुअली नॉट क्लियर विद द वर्ड्स. इट इज फॉर द पार्लियामेंट एंड स्टेट लेजर्स टू डिबेट एंड डिस्कस कि भाई ये सेपरेट सिस्टम हम कैसे क्रिएट करें फॉर अंडर ट्रायल्स.
They can bifurcate it more into the heinous and non-heinous crimes. मतलब
वो भी कर सकते हैं. दैट इज अ गुड आइडिया. बट उसको तो करने की जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ेगी. वहां पे आप बेल से रिलेटेड लॉज आर ऑलरेडी क्वाइट स्ट्रेंथेंड. तो 7 साल से कम की सजा का अगर किसी ने कोई अपराध किया है तो उसको तो बाय एंड लार्ज आप बेल पे ही रिहा कर दो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम आती है तब जब किसी ने हीनियस क्राइम किया है या किसी ने कोई सेक्सुअल ऑफेंस कमिट किया है, मर्डर किया है, डेकोइटी करी है, टेररिस्ट एक्ट किया है, तो अब उसको आप खुला भी नहीं छोड़ सकते हो इन सोसाइटी बिकॉज ही मे बी ए थ्रेट टू द सोसाइटी. ही मे टेम्पर विद द एविडेंस, ही मे डू सम अदर थिंग्स, नेस्टी थिंग्स. तो लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम उसके लिए कोई संस्थान और फैसिलिटी आपको अलग से क्रिएट करना चाहिए. तो थिंक अबाउट इट एज अ लॉ स्टूडेंट. इट्स नॉट ए इजी क्वेश्चन. सारे मिलके भी हम लोग सोचेंगे ना तब भी शायद कोई सोल्यूशन ना निकाल पाए because it's a very comprehensive question.
The main issue is that likewise CRPC की books में देखो there is the concept of the speedy trial, but जब reality में हम जाते हैं तो we all know the real scenario.
Even
so that is also,
even right to speedy trial has been recognized to be a fundamental right.
Right.
उस लेवल तक जाने के बाद भी तब भी ट्रायल में डिले होता है. बट मेरा फोकस ज्यादा प्रिजन वाले सिस्टम के ऊपर था, क्योंकि अगर सारी डिबेट देखो ना वो इट्स फोकस इज देयर इज ओवर क्राउडिंग ऑफ प्रिजन. अरे भाई तो तुम सारे अंडर ट्रायल को उसी प्रिजन में डाल दोगे जिसका ऑब्जेक्टिव ये था कि जिसको सजा मिलेगी वो यहाँ पे पनिशमेंट अपनी सर्व करने के लिए आएगा. देयर शैल बी ओवर क्राउडिंग. यू कैन नॉट स्टॉप दैट. हर आदमी
why all the
हाँ जी
So I think that's the reason why major businesses, businessmen who are loan defaulters, they run away from the country because they are scared.
Yes. So what he's saying is a very good point. True.
Yes, sir. Vijay Mallya ran away from the country because of the, he was so scared of going to the
to
jail.
avoid prison system. Correct, sir. So, for
And
example,
also, sir,
हाँ जी बोलो.
It is a injustice for the person. Suppose the under trial person is not proven guilty and is innocent, then he has to live with the hardened criminals. So
True,
that is not the
true. And
perfect scenario.
and especially when you do not have a very speedy trial.
Yes,
of
sir.
most of
And
the
most
people.
of the time, we also see that those who have been given the death penalty, or if those
True.
are also poor people and not others who can afford. Mostly, the majority are those who cannot afford to have a good lawyer or whatever.
तो बस ये मैं इसलिए आपके साथ डिस्कस करना चाह रहा था बिकॉज मुझे ये था ना कल व्हेन आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट बिकॉज आई थिंक अबाउट माय लेक्चर अ लॉट आई रीड लेस थिंक मोर टीचिंग इज एक्चुअली वेरी क्लोज टू एक्टिंग you have to just read the script in a particular manner which creates some kind of interest. ठीक है, तो ऐसा है जैसे कोई एक्टर डायलॉग बोलता है ना, मैं अपने आप को एक्टर नहीं बना रहा हूँ बट मोस्ट ऑफ द टीचर्स आर एक्टर्स एंड उनको स्क्रिप्ट तो मेरे पास सेम ही है ना, स्क्रिप्ट तो नहीं बदलेगी. सीआरपीसी में जो लिखा है और जो कोट्स बोलेंगे स्क्रिप्ट तो सेम ही है मेरे पास. इट्स जस्ट द वे आई हैव टू इम्प्रोवाइज ऑन माई डिलीवरी ऑफ स्क्रिप्ट. स्क्रिप्ट तो सेम रहेगी, भले मैं 10 साल बाद भी पढ़ाऊंगा इस चीज को, इट वुड रिमेन सेम. तो मुझे खुद ही हंसी आ गई कल इस बारे में सोचते हुए कि यार प्रिजन सिस्टम का मतलब है अब फंक्शनरी ऑफ क्रिमिनल जस्टिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन विच वुड कम इनटू पिक्चर पोस्ट ट्रायल. अब अपने क्रिमिनल जस्टिस एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में ऐसा है कि इट कम्स इनटू पिक्चर द मोमेंट दैट 15 days का पुलिस कस्टडी इज ओवर, इन केस remand is asked and granted by the magistrate, and if remand is not asked, it's a regular offense. Police does not need to interrogate you. It do not want to interrogate. It does not want to interrogate you. तो फिर आप जाओ जेल, और वो रेगुलर वाली जेल जाओ. And then this entire crisis would come into picture. Overcrowding of jail, rampant violence in jails, corruption in jail, and blah blah, the poor and very unhealthy living conditions inside jail. और फिर ये पूरा problem would come in front of you the moment you start talking about jail.
So I believe that in case we can create a detention and kind of like a special center for people, first of all, who have not been convicted, and secondly, I do believe that we're very inhuman with certain parts of the people who have been convicted. Like if somebody has AIDS or cancer or a pregnant woman even, they can be put into the same center. It would solve 2 or 3 problems at once: overcrowding, and then certain people need special care.
Yeah. And this problem is manifold. You mentioned about women. Imagine women who are having small children.
Yes, sir.
And they are under trial. Now, our state is so sensitive in its approach, and I am also including judiciary here. Okay? Our state is so sensitive in its approach that it doesn't bother to care about women who are having children and they are under trial and they are lodged in the same prison in which women who have been convicted of an offense are being lodged.
So not even with children, if a woman is pregnant and it's common knowledge to the other prisoners and she is not convicted, they could harm her and her child. And even not even in our country, I was reading an article about USA. So what they do is they make them deliver the child in shackles. They're chained, and then that is how they're delivering the child. So we are not very humane in our treatment of other people.
Towards, like, I could understand it. You may be little less humane in the treatment of people who are convicted of committing heinous crimes. But how would you explain your approach towards a person who is still under trial?
But sir,
that's a big question mark.
Sir, but there is one more thing that needs to be noticed. We have around 60 to 70% cases which are under trial. So अगर हम एक infrastructure से separate बना भी देते हैं कि for those prisoners who are under trial, तो at the end वो overcrowd हो जाएगा. That is very true. Like what Krizika has mentioned, there should be separate facilities.
मेरा personally मानना है नमन कि अगर हम इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा, if we think deeply about it and if we are willing to invest resources in this system, तो अगर 2 सिस्टम हम क्रिएट करेंगे ना, तो ओवर क्राउडिंग की प्रॉब्लम को तो डील कर सकते हैं, एटलीस्ट प्रिजन वाली तो डील कर सकते हैं फॉर श्योर। मैं तुम्हें स्टैटिस्टिक्स के हिसाब से बता रहा हूँ, ये तो बिल्कुल एकदम।
Sir, I think, sir,
तो वही
these,
solve हो जाएगी।
sir, I think these under trials can be house arrested also. It has been
It
observed
depends.
or practiced.
Ashok,
Yes,
it
sir.
depends on the nature of the crime and the kind of evidence that is available against those people.
But actually, it has been practiced in some few countries also, sir.
Yes,
So
yes,
they
yes,
what
yes.
they do is
They do have.
they create some artificial intelligence inputs and they put on the rest of the trials,
That is true.
so that they can roam around in a like specified radius,
True.
and they cannot go go out of it, sir. So that is being practiced in some countries.
Harshit. Okay, so this is a food for thought for everyone, including me. It's a very problematic question. बहुत सारे डिसीजन है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के, प्रिजन में ओवर क्राउडिंग है, क्या करें, बट पता नहीं क्यों कुछ होता नहीं है। मतलब करें क्या यही सवाल रह जाता है, क्या करें, और फिर उसके बाद कुछ होता नहीं है। एंड वी आर एट द सेम स्टेज, एट द सेम लेवल वेयर वी वर व्हेन वी गॉट इंडिपेंडेंस, व्हेन वी became a democratic republic with all the charter, with the entire charter of fundamental rights available to us. So that's all for today's class. We will have a brief discussion on these functionaries tomorrow as well, and then I will discuss with you hierarchy of courts in tomorrow's class. Suhashini, Mansi.